A little new boot goofing, baby. Morning, guys. This is Jake at Brookhaven Farms. What a beautiful day it is. The sun's shining. It's around 55, 60 degrees. What a change of events. The main thing on the agenda today for our video is how to farm specifically cattle, what to look for in the cattle breed, how to rotationally graze with zero inputs other than grass, water, mineral. Guys, if you want to be successful in the cattle industry, you have to get your animals working for you, not against you. Get your ground working for you and not against you. Get that ground making you some money. Get them cattle making you some money. You will never make money in the cattle business if you are always limping them cattle along with outside inputs. One of the most interesting things that I hear of all the time in the cattle industry is you want those convenient qualities in commercial cattle. The number one quality in raising cattle for profit farming is they have to be able to turn grass into beef, grass into weight. You might ask me, you say, well, Jake, why do they have to turn grass into meat if you can go to the co-op and turn grain into beef? Because grain costs money. You have to have a healthy rumen. What that does is that rumen takes forage and processes it into energy, into nutrients, and extracts the minerals and nutrition that cow needs. Let's take this cow, for example, 544. She's a pretty good commercial cow, in my opinion. I want you to look at the depth on her. Her depth is even across her belly. She has a lot of good depth to her. Her back is flat across the top. A lot of these qualities are qualities that Big Ag convinces people that if you don't have this type of cattle, then your cattle's not worth much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not big into grading cattle, you know, every little thing about them, about down to which way their hair goes. What I'm interested in is a cow that can produce a calf on zero inputs. An animal that is healthy, not just produce a calf on minimal inputs, but produce a calf that is healthy, that can perform. The second most important thing, other than you have a cow that can turn grass into beef, okay? The second thing is you have to have grass so that cow can produce beef. How do you get grass, you might ask? You have to do a few things to get good grass. You have to rotationally graze. You have to unroll some hay, putting carbon back on the ground, keeping moisture in the ground. When you rotational graze, you're keeping that grass in a stage of growth by making that grass blade be a solar panel. And the best thing is chicken manure. These are all ways that we can grow grass on our farm. So no matter if you're taking over a new farm, something like that, you might have to supplement some of their feed with some hay. Well, guys, you got to have some high quality hay. Look at the seed in it. It's got a little bit of everything. Golly, that's good. Ladies and gentlemen, I've not wormed any of my cattle. And I know people are like, well, that's terrible management. No, sir, I'm out here every day. I spend at least 30 minutes to an hour with these cattle every day. So you go around, you find a cow-calf operator that 365 days a year spends 30 minutes to an hour with his cattle. It's not because of lack of management that I didn't worm these cattle. It's because I'm not going to do something unless they need it. You heard me. I am not going to do anything to these cattle unless they are in need of it to survive and for their health. For example, if you feel like $1 million, you feel like Superman. I don't see many of those people sitting over at the urgent care or in the hospital. So why am I going to give something to my cattle when they're doing great? They're doing fine. That's just another unnecessary input of your money and your time. Yeah, okay, it's springtime. Let's run all the cattle up and spend 2 or 3 days and a few hundred or maybe $1,000 buying medicine and vaccines and stuff like that and give to these cattle. Why? Why would you do that? This is, guys, we just had 10 inches of snow, plus followed by 2 or 3 inch rain. Yes, we do have a little bit of mud on our farm. Every farm does. But our cattle mature at about 1,000 to 1,100 pounds. So when they're walking out through here, like this cow is right here, if we look at the ground, yeah, I mean, you have some pugging in the ground. Let's see here. That's how big my pugging is in some spots. About that much. Now, if you had that 1,800 pound cow, she'd be up to her elbows. Okay, let's recap a little bit what we've talked about. We talked about the type of breed and qualities that you want in a cow to farm. So to farm cattle, you got to have a farm. You got to have a cow. You got to have a cow that's going to perform well on grass. So, and we talked about you got to have some grass. So now let's talk about how you manage. Now that you have all the things you need, let's talk about what you do on a daily and how you manage those cattle so that they are profitable. You know, another thing that's important to remember is your time is money. Let's talk about some things that you can still successfully graze cattle with a town job. You can, but you have to do a few necessary things first to set everything up so that you can have time to work your town job and come home and make things a little easier on the farm. So now that you see some of this pipeline, one thing that's going to save you a ton of time in farming is having accessible water all over your farm. Pressurized water was the best thing since sliced bread. We're putting water hydrants in here and down there another 164 feet. And all across our farm, we're going to be putting water spigots in. And this is what it's going to look like. So you have your box in the ground right here. This box is you know, it's a plastic, but it's a manhole box. I like these really good. So you're going to take your box, you're going to open it up. And then inside there, it's a little muddy right now, but inside there, you're going to have a water valve. And you'll be able to hook up, turn your valve on, plug in your water hydrant, and you'll have water for your rotational grazing. How to farm cattle. Guys, you might say, well, I don't have $500,000 worth of fence on your farm. That is okay. These few tools that I have here in my hand are an unfair advantage to farming cattle. You do not need 6-strand high tensile to do this. I will say, a good perimeter fence will make you sleep better at night, but we've done it without it. I do not recommend it, but you can do it. If you have cattle that are trained with single-strand hotline, you can rotationally graze cattle with solar panel, charger, step-in post, and reels. Okay, so when you start building your paddock, at your corners, you're gonna have this post. This is called a pigtail post. It's got a steel shaft on it, and it's a little bit stronger, and it's got steel at the bottom that's poking the ground. So, you stick this in the ground first. You want this circle going in line with your paddock. So, that goes in the ground. Then, what I like to do is I do 7 to 8 steps between this and my next post. Now that I got my reel, I'm ready to run my line. So I'm going to get a little bit of slack off. I'm going to lock it back. I'm going to pull it tight. Out. I'm going to take it. I'm going to do a little tight here. You can use a handle too. I mean, it don't matter. If you want to tie it, you can. Save the $2. Whatever. Tight onto there. I'm gonna open my brake. The way I like to hold this is like this right here. My pinky can control this. If I stop, I can stop this right here. I'm gonna walk out through here. Stop, I can squeeze my pinky and the line doesn't roll out through the reel. I'm gonna walk out through here, I can stop, put my pinky down on it, whatever. Hit here, take it, take your line, put it in that spear right there, and that's all we got set up. So I'm gonna lock it. When I'm rotational grazing cattle, the height I want it at is this high. It comes up about right here on me. Them cattle, once you have that up, them cattle are trained, get shocked by about 9,000 or 9 kV. They ain't even gonna mess with it. This is not hard stuff, guys. You know what it does take though? It takes consistency. It takes hard work. It takes exercise. All of these things benefit you and your well-being, your mental health, everything. You get outside, you build some paddocks, you're gonna feel better because you're connected to the ground, you're connected to the animals, and you're connected to doing some hard work, and it makes you feel better. Today, guys, this is some of the equipment. This post is a O'Brien step-in post. They are UV resistant for a certain amount of years. I don't know how many years they're UV resistant, but they're UV resistant. These posts are tough. I bought other posts from the co-op. They don't do very good, but it doesn't matter. If that's what you can afford, and if that's what you can handle, is posts from the co-op, by all means do it. It doesn't matter. Them cattle don't know what brand this is. If you want something to last a little longer, this is just what I have. This is just what I found to work best in my operation. Operations across the country use different things. We have talked a little bit about the cattle. We've talked a little bit about the grass. We've talked a little bit, tiny bit about the management. Guys, I could talk to you for 5 hours about these cattle and about how to raise these cattle and things I've learned. When you're out here every day, you learn something every day. When you're trying to improve every day, you learn something every day. That is so important. I don't think farming is something that you can teach in a classroom. I don't think that you can watch a YouTube video and then be like, oh, I got it. Because farming, there's so many different variables. And that's what makes it fun. That's what makes farming fun, is it's never the same. You always have something different to learn and to conquer and to achieve. Hope everybody has a great day. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless. Thank you.